Hello, Loita. Let's talk about cultural awareness. So, cultural awareness is a project that we usually do 4 times a year, once every quarter. But this year we decided not to do it first quarter, and we're going to do our first one, 2020. Well, actually, we did one last. Uh, anyway, our first one of this school year for second quarter. And the due date for freshman and sophomore, actually, I take the back. For levels 1 and 2 is going to be November 30th. And the due date for levels 3 and 4 is going to be the following week of December 7th. Okay? I'll put those in the grade book soon. When we get started with second quarter, it'll already be there, and you can start working. But let's talk for a minute about what cultural awareness is. Levels 2, 3, and 4 don't probably need this explanation because they've done it before and not a lot has changed. But level 1 students, you're probably going to want to pay attention to the screencast so you know what's expected. The first thing to know about cultural awareness is why we do it. We do culture in order to expand your usage and knowledge and interest in the language beyond the classroom setting. So the idea behind culture, and we've been doing this for several years, came about to encourage students to find something that they personally connect with using the language outside of school. And we've developed a list of cultural activities. You can open this page. It's now published on PowerSchool. And on this page, you'll see where it says list of culture activities. You can click on that one. Let's see if I can switch tabs here real quick. And it opens up this list. I'm not going to read through everything on the list, but it gives you an idea of what types of things are going to count for cultural awareness. Each quarter, you'll need to complete a series of activities. Activities are listed. This list is not complete. If you have an idea, let me know. I might say yes, I might say no, but try it. Basically, you need to pick enough things on this list to add up to 25 euros. We use euros because the points on this assignment are going to be slightly different. You're going to be graded on, if you get 25 euros, you get full credit there, but that's only part of the rubric. You still need to fill out a reflection, provide evidence, and write write a reflection, provide evidence, and talk about the relationship to the language or culture. So that you'll be able to find on the rubric. But let's look at the list before we talk about the rubric and how you'll turn this in. So there is a link to the Google Doc on this one. There's a link to the list on the Google Doc template, so those two are linked together. Looking down here, what types of things can you be doing? You could change the language on your phone. If you do that, I want you to screenshot it. So for an iPhone, you push these two buttons. It'll take a screenshot. On your computer, if you do Command Shift 3, it'll take a picture of everything on the screen and save it. You can change the language on your phone, get some points that way, tell what words you learn by doing that. Any of these ones in yellow, you want to maybe avoid as a level 1 student. They might just be a little bit beyond what we're able to do. You can get credit for using Duolingo. I need proof that you've been doing 7 days worth, whether it's a screenshot or a picture. That'll work. Find a free German learning app. You can use Deutsche Welle's language learning course. So check out some of these links to explore some of these. You can text back and forth with a friend for a day, asking some of the questions we've been learning, and take a screenshot of that. You could read a book by a German author. If you're a big reader, go ahead and read a book by a German author in English, and you can get 20 euros for doing that one. You can read a book with a meaningful German connection. You can cook food. We used to do a lot of cooking and bringing in food. We're not going to bring in food, and you guys are working remote anyway, so what's the difference? But let's just do the cooking at home this time around. That's a pretty fun one. If you Google German recipes, you'll find even more. You can go to Hessen House in Des Moines if you want to dine out. You are not allowed to tell your parents that you have to go out to eat for German class, but you can go out to eat for German class if you want to. Be careful if you go to Hessen House, though. Not everything is really as authentic as you might hope for. If you just try and avoid things like the cheeseburgers, there's Bavarian nachos that's not authentic at all. Chicken tenders, try not to maybe get chicken tenders. Try and maybe focus on one of the ones that's a German specialty, or a schnitzel, or a sausage. A lot of those ones are pretty close to authentic and pretty tasty. Don't try and go on the weekends or after like 9 o'clock, because Hessen House turns into a bar, and minors aren't allowed. You can eat other foods and get points that way. You can do different online things, following people on social media. You can read current events articles. You can watch documentaries. If you're interested in politics, there's this quiz you can take. There's blogs you can read. You can watch TV shows, movies, listen to music. Those are often popular choices. I help you out with some different movie titles you can check out on Netflix. There's a lot. If you search for German content, you'll probably find it. Just try and make sure it is German. It can be sometimes hard to tell. Maybe double check to make sure that the movie or TV show you're watching is German before you submit it. Just like with recipes, just because maybe it sounds German doesn't mean it's necessarily authentic. Really good example is German chocolate cake. Have you ever had German chocolate cake? It's delicious. It's got coconut, caramel, chocolate, really, really yummy, sometimes nuts. Not German at all. Named after a guy named Sam German. He was from Texas. Not a German recipe. Every year somebody brings in German chocolate cake. Don't do that. You can read different things. You can visit a museum, although those are still mostly closed. There's one on here about going to a fair or festival. We don't have those anymore, but someday, hopefully, we will. You can even watch a soccer game with a German team for €5. Awesome way to get points. Okay, so those are the types of things that count for cultural awareness. And when you feel like you have done one or done both, you'll want to go to this reflection template back on PowerSchool. So let's open that thing up. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure to switch which tab I'm recording. Hopefully we're still able to see me. So this is what the culture template looks like. It says you need 2 activities, add up to €25. You could do 4 activities, adding up to 25, 5-point activities, that's fine. Just a minimum of 2, and there's nothing worth 25, so you'll have to. The second quarter is down at the bottom. Fourth quarter is at the top, so start down here. You'll put the activity name and number of euros first, so you can get that from the last form we were on. Relationship to language or culture. Try and tell me more than just it was German. Try and tell me like what was German about it. What words did you recognize? what maybe I don't know, if you watch a movie like when was it made, and was it mostly in German? Was it all in German? Was it I don't know. Try and be more in depth than just it was German. There's more we can write about the relationship with language or culture. Proof required documentation. Be specific about what it asks for. If it asks for a picture, put a picture. If it asks for a screenshot, put a screenshot. You can take a picture of yourself doing just about anything to prove that you're doing it. I would rather do that than you just like having a picture of the thing. Okay? Do it. On the reflection, tell me how it made you think and feel. Give me more than just, it was pretty good. That's not going to cut it. Tell me what was good about it, what you enjoyed, what you liked, what you would do again, what you learned from this, what you wanted to look up or what you didn't enjoy about it, what went wrong, what was challenging. Okay, there's a lot you can do in a reflection. Just there's no wrong answer, right? Give me some sort of information here. This is also in English. Okay, and then when you're done with that, you will submit it to turnitin.com. I'll show you how to do that as we get closer to the deadline. The deadline's November 30th. Last little bit I'll talk about to try and make this screencast a little shorter is what else you can find on this PowerSchool page. The rubric on how you'll be assessed is there. I'll go through that as well as turnitin.com when we get closer to the deadline. But you're free to check it out now. There's an example that walks you through some things about cultural awareness already there from Maestra Bonnet. She was a Spanish teacher here 2 years ago. I want to point out a link that's been hanging out all year. It's called Resource Center Omnibus. And this is a site where I just dumped a bunch of stuff during COVID, and I left it active for you guys this year. So it would have been on the German one page last year. I just left it up. There's a bunch of YouTube channels that you could subscribe to or watch or find stuff. These are all really great. There's some language learning apps or websites or videos over to the right that would be useful resources for learning. Let's see, down here is some older content. It's kind of just a mix of stuff. There's some videos of me with my kids and a list of German films there that I just kind of like and have seen and recommend. Let me know if you have questions. Check out this cultural awareness tab some point this week. You have time to work on this, but November usually sort of flies by, and we're not quite to November yet, but we're marching on. So we've already reached the end of the first quarter, and one of your big grades. So cultural awareness is worth 10% of your total grade. It's a big enough issue that if you don't turn it in, and let's say you have an A, an 95%, your grade would drop down to an 85% without cultural awareness. So it's a good big chunk of points. Don't not do it. Don't let this be an overwhelming thing for you. Try and find things that are fun, that you enjoy, and that actually make some better connections for you in the language. So if you're into particular type of music, listen to that music. Like there's a bunch of German rap out there if you're into that, or techno music if you want to do that. If you really like baking shows, there are German baking shows. Watch some of those. Okay, so find things that are of interest to you, and just have fun and enjoy this. If you have questions, as always, let me know. I'll get you more information as we get closer, but here's a good rundown of cultural awareness for now. Dankeschön.